Hello everybody, this is Delpha, and we're continuing with G Senjou no Moau. Likelihood.
やぶかの出るような山林があって、人気がない場所です。
It's been a while since I played this. Setting mountains aside, aren't pretty much all abandoned sites placed? Oh yes. I don't know if I accidentally skipped it a little bit or not, because I had to stop it at one random point, so I don't know if I ended up deleting something. So if I did, then there might be a little bit missing. But nothing too serious, I hope. Right. Abandoned sites, places with no people around. Okay.
いいえ、浅井さん。誘拐事件の人質を隠すような場所です。可能性の話で言えば、珍相談やホームレスの方も近づかないようなレアな廃墟なんじゃないでしょうか。
Yeah, I guess you're right. If I was the kidnapper, I would choose one of those places too. I'm not too familiar with the subject myself, but I hear it's pretty common for gangs to use those abandoned ruins as meeting spots, and the homeless use them as homes. 1日
2件。3日もあれば、ひろあきくんを発見する確率は 10% 以上になります。道端で突然ペンギンと出くわすより高い確率です。当たり前の話ですが。
What? A penguin? I never knew that you were so optimistic.
とにかく探してみます。
Very well. I just didn't feel like arguing anymore.
じゃあ、早速リストアップしてもらっていいですかね。
A list with information about nearby condemned sites.
無理っすかね。神でも。
God? Oh, you're talking about that thing with Ichi and me. Information on condemned sites, huh? How would I gather that? Some research on the internet and in books would be the best way to start off. I guess I could also ask around former gang members from the Azai Corporation's network. Anyway, I'm going home.
じゃあ、自分も浅井さんの家にお邪魔します。
Oh dear. Eh? Tsubaki showed up just as I was revealing my disgust.
あ、二人ともここにいたんだ。
Yeah, I was just having a little talk with Yuzami. Tsubaki took a glimpse at Yuzami, looking rather stiff.
何の話？私も混ぜて。
なんやかんやあって、私が今日の放課後、浅井さんの家にお邪魔するということになったんだ。
え？
No, wait. I don't want to let any classmates into my room. Let alone Yuzami.
浅井さん、昨日約束したじゃないですか。
Promise? Ah, the promise to search for Hiroki.
電話番号まで交換した仲じゃないですか。
え、そうなの？
うん。私の初コールが浅井さんだった。
Oh god. You're really annoying, you know that. I scratched my head. As I sat there, vexed, okay, someone called out from the hallway. It was Miss Noriyuko. She seems to be in a panic. Tsubaki called back and headed to the door. Miss Noriyuki's face was deadly white as she spoke to Tsubaki.
なんすかね。
Tsubaki returned after a while.
ごめん。
Tsubaki had a frightened look on her.
私、早退する
ね。
ね。
Uh-oh. What happened?
お母さんが倒れたって。
Oh.
今、病院にいるって。
Oh god, now this has turned to a dark side. When it was dark before with the kidnapping, but this is getting worse. Now that I think about it, she hasn't been well lately. She's been in bed since the kidnapping. Which hospital? I tried to remain calm. Judging by the name of the hospital, Tsubaki told me, it was a general hospital in the Eastern District. Alright, take a taxi there. It'll get you there in no time.
タクシー？乗ったことないよ。
I'll call one now and lend you the money. It shouldn't be more than 5,000 yen.
そんな、
Don't worry about it. It's an emergency, right? I took 5,000 yen from my wallet and handed it to Tsubaki. I picked up my cell to call the cab company too. I wish they'd change it to mobile for the English way. But it's an American translation probably. The call was already over by the time Tsubaki had a chance to resist again. He said he'll be there in 5 minutes. Go wait at the front of the school. I've already told him the destination.
浅井くん。
What's the matter? You look like you want to cry.
ありがとう。本当に、ありがとう。
Tsubaki held the 5,000 notes bill tightly in her hands and dashed out of the classroom. Watching her back turn to the corner, Yuzami whispered,
かっちょいいっすね、浅井さん。
Hmm?
浅井さんはほんと、頼りになるというかなんというか。
It's because I'm rich.
友達思いですね、ほんと。
No, really, it's normal, isn't it? Is she misunderstanding me? My business with the Sano Corporation is only possible because of Tsubaki. I have to repay this favor.
では、当然椿の弟さんを探すのにも協力していただけるわけですよね。
Of course, but can you come to my house tomorrow instead?
ひろあきくんの発見が遅れれば遅れるほど、まずいことになるとお分かりでしょ？
I get the feeling I'm being led around by the noose here. Very well, but you have to leave as soon as you have what you want. I still have plans for the night.
ありがとうございます。
The bell signals the end of the lunch break. Oh well. This could be the chance to investigate the connection between Yuzami and Moau. Me.
いやー、噂には聞いてましたが、とんでもなく高いマンションですね。
Swanky. Yuzami was impressed looking at the building.
浅井さんって、すごいですね。
Not me, my dad. He's the rich one. I inserted the key into the auto-locking door and opened it.
こんなところに一人で住んでるんですか？
What's wrong with that?
ありますよ、もちろん。ひがみますよ、もちろん。
You're quite annoying. We entered the elevator after moving through the lobby.
お邪魔します。
First things first, don't touch anything here.
広い！何畳くらいあるんですか、これ。
Something like 16,000? Don't go nosing around. Sit your butt down over there and don't move.
眺めも最高じゃないですか。こんなところに女性を連れ込んで、一体どんな邪悪なことをしてるんですか？
Oh god. Yuzami looked around the house excitedly. Would coffee do?
ありがとうございます。あ、金庫だ。へえ、お金貯めてるんですか？
Yuzami pointed at the safe that holds 15 million yen. Just a little.
浅井さんって、アルバイトしているわけじゃないですよね。
I got a small allowance working for my dad.
何にしても、真面目にお金を貯めてらっしゃるんですね。
Why'd you say that? I continued to the question. Doesn't it seem strange that someone living in a huge, expensive apartment like this would end up, would be saving up money?
いや、まあ、なんとなくそう思っただけですけどね。
She turned her attention to the furniture as she spoke.
部屋自体はとても高いんでしょう。ただ、ソファーやテーブルなんかは、実は安物なんじゃないんですか？
You know, your furniture is pretty well.
自分、リサイクルショップとかよく行ってましたんで、見かけた品があるなぁと思ったんです。
It's true, and it's not only the furniture, the dinnerware, and appliances are all cheap stuff too. It's all the stuff I bought cheap from Sawa Alliance's pawn shop. And a lot of them were gifts too.
浅井さんは洋服もたくさん持っているみたいでおしゃれですし、お部屋もこんなに立派です。車も持っているんですか？
Yeah, the parking garage is underground. Well, it's just a company car.
失礼なことを言わせていただきますと、浅井さんはなんだか見栄を張るためだけにお金を使っていて、普段はとても質素な方なんじゃないですか？
Somehow I knew you would start to analyze my personality the second you stepped in the door.
すみません。つい気になってしまいまして。
Ha. Still, most of what Yuzami said was correct. I lead a life that appears luxurious. Gonzo's orders, after all. I would personally rather save money. I still have to return the 200 million yen debt my father owes. Nevertheless, appearances are crucial. The right house, the right car, the right clothes. They said right choices. I might only be his adopted son, but as a child of the fourth leader of the Noima group, I can't just let others look down on me. I know better than anyone to do that. Gonzo has shown me firsthand the power one can obtain by flaunting one's wealth. Wristwatch, cars, a few extra square feet in the underground, these things are closely tied to your overall worth as a person. I think I probably eat better food than you, at least.
そうでしょうね。
I buy CDs and take Tsubaki out for coffee too. I do a lot of stuff that wastes money.
それもそうっすね。質素は言い過ぎでしたね。
Yuzami lowered her head slightly.
いや、私てっきり、浅井さんは何か事情があってお金を稼ぎまくっている好青年かと思いましたよ。
Ha. You mean one of those guys that lives in a tiny little room, uses public bath and toilet, and leads a frugal lifestyle, all for the sake of being able to pay back some of his sick mother's debt? What a ridiculous thought. Forget about 1 or 200,000. How could someone saving up such a piddly amount by living like that possibly repay 100 million yen debt? If you don't use money, you won't earn money. I've been repeating this to myself. I must repay all my debts. Still, I refuse to live a poor life. Otherwise, people who think they know, who know the first thing about me, will look upon me with pity. I never want to experience that kind of humiliation ever again.
それで、本題ですけど。
Yeah, I'll get back to researching in my study.
じゃあ自分も。
You wait here.
え？じゃあ自分は何しにお宅にお邪魔してるんですか？
Skipped it. I'll be in charge of searching on the internet for information on the rundown locals or whatever, and the printing out. You read it, and I'll look for further information while you're reading.
ああ、なるほど。そういう役割分担ですね。
I just want Yuzami to stay out of my study. Kind of like an easy thing to see, technically. There are lots of things on my computer that simply cannot be seen.
じゃあ、早速。
All the porn. I left Yuzami there and entered the study myself. We met in the living room after an hour passed. The sun was already setting before I knew it. Seems like there's a lot of run-down spots. Not only were there a lot of condemned homes that nobody lived in, but there were lots of ruined parks and hotels, and there were some old military facilities. Izami surfed through the information I had printed out.
この旅館、温泉旅館といって、温泉が出なかったみたいですね。シュールですわ。
Oh, but that's why it's closed. And look at this rental house. It might be condemned, but it's in the center of town.
ですね。そういうのは後回しにしていいと思います。
We'd be hard pressed to believe that the kidnapper was hiding the hostage in an old building that people pass by all the time.
はい。というわけで、浅井さんにお願いしたいことがあるんです。
What now?
いくら廃墟でも勝手に侵入するのはまずいですよね。
Ah, right, I nearly forgot. Someone owns it, even if it's condemned. It's against the law to enter without permission.
今から当たってみたい廃墟をリストアップしてみました。ですので、浅井さんのお力で管理者に連絡を取ってみてもらえませんか？
I've got an itchy shoulder. One sec. Okay, it's gone.
無理ですかね。
Well, we won't know until we ask. How can we ask these people in a way that will guarantee their consent? A 5-year-old might be trapped in there. That'd be just be peachy. But there's no way we can say that. Alright, just wait a moment. I need to ask an acquaintance of mine in real estate about something. I took the list Izami had arranged back to my study. The inner workings of the real estate business is quite something. When I said I was with the Azai Corporation and asked the real estate agent about the buildings, he called his co-worker and identified the owners almost immediately. Well, I dealt with five locations to start with.
結果はどうでしたか？
No worries, they all agreed to let us in.
本当ですか？
Yep. The truth was, we didn't get permission at all. All 5 of them belonged to the local financial institution. I can't even speak anymore. Institutions. Getting permission was out of the question.
浅井さん、大丈夫なんですよね？
Yeah, they said it's not a problem, seeing as how I'm my father's son.
そうですか。自分はそういうの疎いんで、助かりました。
We're in search of a 5-year-old for a greater good here. I do feel a little bad about it, but what Yuzami doesn't know won't hurt her.
じゃあ、行ってきます。
What? We're starting now?
善は急げと。
Wait, let's pack some things first. Speaking won't help me tonight. As I got deeper into the research, I started to see how unsafe the condemned sites are.
軍手に防塵マスク、それから底の厚いブーツですかね。
And flashlights. It's pretty dark in these places, even at noon.
大体持ってます。以前工事現場でアルバイトしていたことがありまして、その時に一式揃えたんです。
You keep the stuff from where you worked and you use them in an investigation. I guess that could work. If you ever kept like gloves and boots and well, sort of protection from earlier work-related stuff, that could be useful. Not sure if they could give you a helmet or whatever if you needed one. She really does all these jobs.
それじゃあ、資料とかをお借りしていきます。
Oh, sorry, there's something I need to do today. Isn't she afraid going alone? The photos of ruined buildings, every last one of them, looked frightening. There might not be ghosts, but there could be vagrant or packs of wild dogs. Oh god. I don't think there are any wild dogs in the UK. If there are, then I don't live anywhere near any of them. I guess.
ありがとうございます。
Maybe they're in the extremely poor areas, wherever that is. Somewhere. Izami waved and headed to the door. Just wait a moment. Just a moment. Wait a moment. Izami turned and moved her head to the side in uncertainty. I have a question. You insist the kidnapper is Mao, right?
それが何か？
What do you think Mao's motive is for kidnapping Tsubaki's
動
brother?
機ですか？
You know, the goal of kidnapping wasn't money, right?
今一つ、魔王の心境が理解できない部分が多いんですがね、浅井さん。
Izami nodded again and said,
ある仮説を立ててみました。
Hypothesis?
魔王の真の目的は、私を陥れることなのではないかと。
Huh? I frowned.
もしくは魔王は、魔王にとって私がどの程度の脅威になり得るかを試してきたんです。
Aren't you being a little too self-centered? That sounds bonkers.
自分でも変態なことを言っているのは分かっています。
I joked. What are you trying to say? That you and Mao are arch enemies?
いやいや、魔王にとって自分なんかミジンコみたいなもんですよ。いや、ミジンコは言い過ぎか。ゴキブリみたいなもんか。あ、でもゴキブリは可愛くないから嫌だな。
Oh, well, I thought she called them cute. What the hell is her problem? Well then, why would a vicious kidnapper like Mao want to go after plankton like you?
それは...
She swallowed at her words as they were about to come out. Come on, it's okay. Tell me, isn't it? To
ちょ
tell
っ
me.
とお話できませんね。
I don't really want to say. Ooh. I clicked my tongue. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what they mean by you click their tongue. Does it like this? Does that click your tongue? I don't know. Something like that. You're just full of secrets, aren't you?
すみません。
Izami still looked rather calm. Somehow, this felt ridiculous. Gonzo ordered me to search for Mao, but the key Izami won't tell me.
私が隠し事の多い女だということですが。
Angry? I'm just telling you it's like it is, you know?
浅井さんにもお話ししたくないことの一つや二つあるんじゃないでしょうか。
What are you talking about?
浅井さん、こんなことを言うと喧嘩になってしまいそうで怖いんですがね。浅井さんのお人柄はどうにもつかめません。
She's figured it out. I'm mysterious.
あなたは学園ではひょうきんで明るくて友達思いです。今日椿にタクシーを手配してあげたりもしましたね。けれど、身代金を引き渡す当日には用事があると言って姿を消しました。今日もそうです。協力してくれると言ったのに、肝心の廃墟の探索には同行してくれません。
I could feel my anger building up. As I said, I'm busy. I have my reasons. I can't do anything about it, okay?
はい。ですから私にだって事情があるんです。魔王との関係を話したくない事情が。
She smuggled through it with these petty words. Perhaps you still suspect that I'm now. I meant to say it out of spite. Izami silently shook her head.
どうも失礼しました。帰ります。
Sure. She left the room timidly, hunched over. Maybe I shouldn't get involved any deeper with her, Izami. I reclined on the sofa, alone. Could Mao be targeting Izami? Whatever the case is, it's got nothing to do with me. It seems like it'll be hard to get any information about Mao out there. But Gonzo really is going to come down hard on me if I don't make some progress finding Mao. Damn it. And it looks like Mao doesn't plan on letting Tsubaki brothers go either. If he doesn't, the shit's going to hit the fan real fast. Sorry about that. Why is it carrying on its own? Why is it carrying on its own? I don't know if anything got skipped there. I know something did, but hopefully you guys can pause it just before that happens. So, we'll just carry on. I came to a conclusion. I need to continue to watch Tsubaki's family. It's difficult for me to get involved in their family's decisions as an outsider, but I have to try. A headache sprang out of nowhere as I continued to think. It's been happening quite frequently recently. I used to finish work as soon as possible. I need to finish work as soon as possible. Blah 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 blah.
Azai-kun?
Oh, we're going all the way to Tsubaki's house. Is this part of our job? I paid a visit to Tsubaki's house after finishing work. Sorry for coming over so late. I got hiccups now. I was in the neighborhood, so I came to check up on you guys. Tsubaki's eyes widened as she looked at me in surprise. Are you going somewhere?
もう帰ってきたんだけどね。
Tsubaki's mumbled as she gripped her coat's helm. So, is your mother doing okay?
明日まで入院するんだけどね。
Was it stress?
みたいだね。お母さんも参っちゃったみたいで。
How about you, Tsubaki? Are you feeling okay? Might be a dim light, but Tsubaki's face looked indesperate need of rest. I don't know.
私は全然平気だよ。
You're amazing, Tsubaki. I already felt that from the bottom of my heart. The brother had been kidnapped, the ransom had been taken, and the hostage had yet to still return. The fact that she could still smile was pretty something. You're a strong person. Tsubaki shook her head, insisting that it wasn't true.
お家寄ってく？
Sure. I thought she was going off to visit Moau. The house was lifeless. All the kids had probably gone to sleep. There was only her dad in the living room, laying his head on the table in misery.
Ah, Azai-kun janai ka. Irashai.
He let a loose greeting with worn eyes.
浅井くん、私、ちょっと弟たちを寝かしつけてくるね。
Sorry for the late hour. Sorry for the late hour. In stark contrast to Tsubaki's, his eyes looked weak.
すまないね。こんな格好で。
His face was gaunt. You look really tired. Although that would be quite natural under these circumstances. Maybe Tsubaki was the abnormal one.
Azai-kun? Tsubaki wa?
Huh? She just went to the room there, didn't she?
そうか。そうだったね。
He's probably been depressed the whole time. An awkward silence filled the air. Tsubaki's father spoke softly.
Azai-kun, Tsubakiをよろしく頼むね。
Huh?
あれはとても優しい娘なんだ。
Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling I know what's gonna come up. Yeah, I know.
今もね、無理に明るく振る舞ってるんだ。
Yeah, I can imagine. Tsubaki's dad
ちょっ
sighed.
といい子に育ちすぎてしまったかな。椿は人を疑うということを知らないんだ。
He almost seemed to be talking to himself.
僕も母さんも世間知らずの田舎者だから、騙すより騙されるような人間になれと教えてきてしまったんだよ。
No, Tsubaki is just a truly kind person. Unbelievably kind. By the way, did the kidnapper ever call you back? I changed the topic as Tsubaki returned from the other room.
浅井くん、何のお話してたの？
The kidnapper?
連絡はまだないよ。
I see. Was Haruki already being killed?
大丈夫。ひろあきはちゃんと帰ってくるよ。
Her bright voice didn't quite fit the atmosphere. It was as if she was somehow sure of it.
そろそろ警察を頼ろうかと思うんだ。父さんが間違っていたんだ。最初から警察を頼っておけばこんなことにはならなかった。
It doesn't come as a shock that this is his train of thought, but eventually reached its
お
conclusion.
父さん、ちょっと待って。
Tsubaki stopped her father from picking up the phone.
もうちょっとだけ待ってみようよ。
椿、すまなかった。
待ってよ。犯人は身代金さえ受け取ればひろあきを返すって言ってたんだよ。
それは口実だよ。現に犯人から何の連絡もないじゃないか。
でも今さら。
すまん。父さんは。
He stood up in a rush. Looks like he's finally at the end of his rope. Please don't become too impulsive. Tsubaki's father turned red and glared at me. I've kept silent about this up until now, but the truth is, I asked my father to help search for the kidnapper the day after the ransom was taken. Tsubaki held her breath.
どういうこと？
We're currently searching for Hiroki through a police acquaintance of my father's. All lies. The possibility of the kidnapper hiding in a remote condemned site is very high. Investigation is currently in progress. Lies, but I decided to mix in some facts for good measure.
つまり、警察の方はもう動いているということかい？
Yeah, but not an official
そ
investigation.
れは本当なんだろうね。にわかには信じがたいよ。
It's true. Some old colleagues of my dad's and a few private detectives are are working on it as we speak. If words will form. Tsubaki's dad fell silent. Right now, patiently waiting for an outcome would be a better solution than irritating the kidnapper by calling the police.
しかしね。
I'll bring Hiroki back, I swear. I said this firmly.
お父さん、浅井くんに任せてみようよ。
Tsubaki spoke to her father as well, but his grim face didn't seem to relax at all. Seemed like his judgment lagged. Lagging under extreme fatigue. Finally, Tsubaki's dad silently dropped his head.
少し休ませてもらうわ。
Apparently, he believed my bullshit. Maybe he didn't have the strength to remaining to call the police in the first place. Whew. Anyway, I managed to jump this hurdle. But a life is still a lie. A lie is still a lie. I hope you guys didn't hear that. I accidentally knocked my mic. It's still only help. I can't speak. It will only help buy some time. If Hiroki is still alive, we have to find him as soon as possible.
ごめんね。お父さん、疲れてるみたいで。
I can't blame him. I took a look at my watch and it was already past 12. Well, it's time for me to head home.
もう？
I didn't have anything in mind when I stepped by. I hinted to Tsubaki. Call me if you ever plan. If you're planning to call the police again. Okay? I can't even speak anymore. Tsubaki completely trusted me. Brought a swift reply.
お父さんが謝ったことしようとしたら、今日みたいに止めてもらえるかな。
Yeah, he's a little on edge right now.
それと、ありがとうね。実は犯人を探してくれてたんだね。
No problem. I avoided her eyes and put on my coat. Well, good night. She smiled. You can do it, Tsubaki. Tsubaki's smile didn't seem quite satisfied as I turned to leave. Sure enough, the voice behind me spoke up again.
待って、浅井くん。
What's gonna happen now?
もう遅いし、泊まっていく？
Haha, you're the last girl I would ever expect to hear that from. I teased her with a same cheerful voice I always use at school, but Tsubaki didn't understand that it was a joke.
ごめんね。本当言うと、ちょっと心細くて。
Ah. As her father had said, Tsubaki pretends to be cheerful but is actually quite uneasy on the inside. Finally, I've been waiting to see the human side of you.
あ、どういう意味？
Oh, nothing. It would be too much to expect anyone to remain completely normal in the face of this situation. I'll pass on spending the night. We have school tomorrow. I patted Tsubaki's shoulders lightly.
ごめんね、無理言って。浅井くんにしかこんなこと相談できなくて。
She looked at me like a pitiful little puppy. Okay, interesting way to describe it. Her round eyes seem to glow in the night sky. Call me if anything happens. Something happens. She looks at me, her eyes filled with loneliness.
私も携帯電話持とうかな。
She's jealous of you, Zami. Is that so? It's very convenient, you know.
だよね。いつでも連絡できるし。
Let's go buy one together. When all this ends.
買ったら私も一番に浅井くんの番号を登録するね。
Yeah, alright. I thought Tsubaki looked a touch anxious for a second, but it's probably not a big deal. Well, see ya. I left Tsubaki's house. I looked back when I made a turn, and Tsubaki waved at me. To tell the truth, I found it pretty adorable that she watched me walk away. He's getting interested. Should I end it there? Do I have enough time?
おいおい、なんだよ。今日は休みが多いな。
You're always the very first person I talk to when I end a video. Goodbye, Etchi. Goodbye, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed.